Okay, here we go. Focus. Speed. I am speed. 1 winner. 42 losers. I eat losers for breakfast. No, stay focused. Speed.
The speed factor in Hogs of War is easily overlooked when we consider all plethora of weapons, maps and strats between both single and multiplayer. But today it's finally time to define every single class of pig in this game when it comes to speed, the results of which might come as a surprise to some of you. Now, it's well known within the community that there is a significant gameplay difference between the two versions in that of PAL and NTSC, with the latter being the slower of the two. Because of this, the results, or I guess the game feel, will differ based on the information I'm about to give, so do bear that in mind if you are looking to test it out for yourself in-game. My source for this information comes directly from the game's original codebase, which is a handy piece of kit in being a Hogs dev myself these days. As a side note, it is still really weird to me to be following in the same footsteps as the previous dev team. When it comes to having access to this kind of information, I would never in a million years have thought that I'd have gone from making video content on my favourite game to working on the remaster in Lardcore. I am truly thankful to the team that I am working with, to Ian Stewart of course, and to the Hogs community for sticking with me and having faith in me to produce the best work that I can. And I mean, my philosophy in this area remains the same as it has been for the past like 5+ years, in that I simply want to share this lesser known information with you guys and in turn spread the love for Hogs as much as possible. Anyway, love notes aside, let's break down how the game defines speed. Unfortunately, it's nothing too complex on the face of it, as each pig is split into 3 categories of slow, medium, and fast. Very exciting, I know. Of course, these categories do differ between the two modes, so let's start with single player. The slowpokes of single player are actually made up of 65% of the available classes. The most obvious of the bunch, of course, is the Grunt. Then we see the next 3 and a bit classes are all dumped into this rating, so here you will also find the Gunner, Bombardier, Pyrotechnic, Sapper, Engineer, Saboteur, Orderly, Medic, Surgeon, and interestingly, the Scout. So all these lads are designated as having slow speed, which is interesting when you consider how the single starting class of the Espionage Pig is chucked in here too. I guess the other shock is how the entirety of the medical class is placed here as well, given that you'd think that they would need to have that faster speed in order to get to where they need to go and heal, but I suspect this is tied into how certain maps in single player require you as the player to traverse from A to B, most notably when attempting to collect additional medals, so having faster pigs would obviously aid that. In particular, I'm thinking about the likes of Mission 10 here, whereby not counting the unintentional wall climb skip, you'd have to walk around the entirety of the map to get to the high ground, and with the separation of your individual pigs, the slower speed plays into that idea of difficulty. Moving up to the medium speed category, we find the Sniper and Spy only. I suppose on the face of it, it does make sense that these two, being the middle and upper ranks of the Espionage class, have medium speed because they are all about maneuverability around the battlefield, getting in and behind the backlines, and when spotted, needing to move away to a different area at a decent rate of speed. I guess as well, when you tie in the usage of the pickpocket, you want to be able to get to your target as soon as possible before retreating to a safe place. Once again, I also feel that this decision was deliberately tied into how common the AI usage of this class is. I mean, we only have to look at the likes of Mission 8, 11, 15 and 18 to see examples of this. Most notably as well, when you think about AI behavior, the Spy certainly does enjoy running up to his target, planting that goddamn TNT and then running away like a coward, so having the speed to do that is a handy bonus. And so within the third and final category of fast, we see all of the elite pigs of the Commando, Hero, Ace and Legend. This is not really a surprise, to be honest, as this is the category that is the easiest to tell when it comes to game feel. So when you've made that first promotion to Commando, you can immediately feel that speed difference in-game, not to mention the ability to not take regular water damage while swimming. Even though the Ace is an unused class, it still maintains the same speed as the rest of them, given that it was originally included in the earlier stages of development. So with single player defined, let's move on to what I see as being the more interesting of the two sets, multiplayer class speeds.
What is that? What the fuck is that? What is it?
Manny, I don't feel that well. Like I'm being beaten up underwater. I can feel bits of my brain falling away like a wet cake. Could you help me?
Once again, with the slow category, we see the Gunner and Grenadier. The Gunner makes sense here given that he is built like an absolute unit, while the Grenadier actually inherits the same speed as its Grunt counterpart in single player. When we factor in the usage of these classes, i.e. how the Gunner is a defensive multiplayer class, you don't expect to be running around and needing speed with this pig, as you'll more than likely be finding him in the backlines firing off those bazookas and mortars from a distance. The slow speed of the Grenadier is an obvious counter to his intense firepower given the high quantity of cluster and high explosive grenades. You might see it as well as being a little bit unfair on the Gren, given that he also holds the least amount of health across all multiplayer classes, but generally I feel like this makes the most sense. In the medium speed category, we see the Sapper and Scout. Once again, things haven't changed for the Espionage Pig here, as he maintains the same stats and strats as his single player brothers, while the Sapper is upgraded from the slow speed of single player. The focus in multiplayer is more PvP based, obviously, so it makes sense that we see higher speed within the Engineer class, although you could argue that because there are 3 speed categories and 6 multiplayer classes, it's just easier to pair 2 and 2 together within each. Regardless, the mid to close range strength of the Sapper ties in nicely to this upgrade in speed, given the need to get up close and personal with those TNTs and shrapnel grenades, not just on pigs, but vehicles and buildings too. And finally, within the fast speed category for multiplayer, we see the Orderly and Paratrooper. Now, the Paratrooper for me makes the most sense here. In fact, I'd once again bet that given the overall design of this class and the history of how the Paratrooper model used to be used for the Commando, it wouldn't surprise me if he simply inherited the fast speed of his single player counterpart. Even so, tying in the use of the jetpack, it plays into the mobility of the Para, with the faster running speed being balanced out by his slightly weaker arsenal compared to the other classes. And obviously the biggest surprise here is to see the Orderly, but when we factor in what I mentioned earlier about being able to get to your target that needs healing quickly, it does make more sense that the Medical Hog is here. PvP settings require more of the medical class. Of course, the original devs would never have thought that 20 years later we'd be playing a multiplayer competitively, but hey, in the long run, it has certainly paid off and added to the overall threat that the med brings in this mode. So that just about does it for the full summary of pig speeds in Hogs of War, with the fastest classes going to the Commando, Hero, Ace and Legend in single player, and the Orderly and Paratrooper in multiplayer. As always, I want to know what you guys think about this particular topic. Was there one specific class that you thought was going to be faster or slower? Let me know everything that you have to say in the comments below. Let's get a discussion going, as we always do. And in the meantime, that is going to wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I do have plenty more topical videos in the works, but as you'd expect, they are slow going given how my focus day to day is on Lardcore, but I will continue to do my best to get those out to you in future. Anyhow, I will catch you guys later for the next one. Peace out, everybody.
早い。あいつめ、またさらに凄みが増してやがんな。